What's going on, everybody? Free to play OG here, and today I'm just bringing you a quick guide to go over the artifact selectors that are available to us during the 10-year anniversary as free to play and new players in Marvel Future Fight. Today we're going to be going over where those selectors come from in the game, what's inside the selectors, we'll talk about the expiries of the selectors, and then we'll talk about what's good inside them and what I think are good picks for you, depending on what you have on your account and what you're going for. If that sounds like something you're interested in talking about, then you are in the right place, my friends. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is where these selectors come from. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the 3-star selector. And if you go into the store, click on the 10-year anniversary tab, there's actually two relays available in the 10-year anniversary tab here. The first one is a gold relay. It has nothing to do with artifacts from what I remember, but I highly recommend it for everybody. It's very cheap gold wise, and I remember you get some decent rewards for what you pay. Everyone should pick that up. This second one is the 10-year anniversary crystal relay, and this one actually costs crystals to progress. And the first step here is actually where we're going to get the 3-star artifact selector that we're going to be talking about today. One of the two we're going to be talking about. It costs 300 crystals, and to my understanding, that's about 100 crystals cheaper than the general shop price for a 3-star artifact selector if it's included in, say, a paid pack. But the real thing is here, as free-to-play and new players, we often do not have access to these selectors easily or at all. So as a free-to-play player, the 300 crystals for a 3-star artifact selector is a very, very, very tempting proposition, in my opinion, and something I would recommend that most people pick up. As far as the rest of this relay, I'll leave that up to you, but one thing I will point out is the second step here. This is not an artifact selector. Just remember that. This is a random artifact chest, so this could be anything in the game, top to bottom. So large chances that you may get something undesirable there. Just keep that in mind. Okay, and then the second selector we're going to be talking about today is a 4-star artifact selector, and that one is going to come from the Agent Training Center here. And we'll go ahead and pop in here and take a look. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see that on the track here at the bottom, the final mission points track, where you're gathering your main rewards down here, or some of your main rewards, there is a 4-star artifact selector at 140 points here that you can go ahead and pick up. So that is the location of these two artifact selectors. One thing I want to make sure to touch on really quick before we get into what's inside them and what I think you should pick is the expiries on these selectors. So you can see here the 3-star artifact selector from the shop has an expiry of 59 days when you get, so 60-day expiry when you buy it. That is a very long time, so don't worry about when you grab this 3-star selector. Just go ahead and grab it. It's got plenty of time for you to make your decision. The 4-star artifact selector, however, does not. The 4-star artifact selector has either a 3 or a 4-day expiry. I believe it was 3. I think I grabbed this yesterday. And the big thing to point out here is that there is like 26 days left on the agent training event. So you do not need to take this out of the event page just yet. You can leave it there for some days while you make your decision, instead of pulling this selector out to your inbox, where you then only have 3 days to make your final decision on which artifact you want to take. So just something I wanted to give you guys a heads up on, especially as free-to-play and new players. Watch out for this expiry on the 4-star artifact selector. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about, let's talk about what's inside these selectors. We'll go ahead and look inside here, and the answer is everything. So these selectors contain every character in the game, as far as I know. I haven't gone through here and counted, but this appears to be the full list of characters in Marvel Future Fight to me. This makes this a pretty difficult choice for some players to make. This can be incredibly overwhelming, but keep in mind that this is sort of a rare decision that we're making here, having a selector for all the artifacts. A lot of the times these selectors are limited. So what we're going to do is break these down sort of by categories and the importance I think those categories have to your account, depending on how you play. So Up at the top here, you can see we've got these wonderful drop-down menus in the selector nowadays, and these are fantastic. You can change this from all artifacts to just unowned artifacts, and you can also use this high-tier artifact thing. Now, I don't know how they classify an artifact as high-tier or non-high-tier. I see a lot of the useful ones in here, but I also see some ones that I would not be interested in having at all. So I'm not sure what that means, but you can use it. The other thing you can do here that's very important is change the artifacts from whether they affect the character themselves or whether they affect allies, meaning a support artifact, and that's going to be really key. Another thing you can change here is whether you're looking at attack, defense, or special passive abilities on the artifacts. And attack is pretty self-explanatory. Defense, same. You're going to increase defenses. With special, this is going to bring us to some more interesting mechanics on the artifacts. And this is a good point to show you right here on the artifacts. If you don't know, if you're brand new to the game, artifacts provide a passive ability when they are equipped to the character that the artifact is made for. If you put this Ghost Rider artifact on Carnage, you would not get anything. So you need to equip them to the character they're for, and they receive this passive bonus here. So in Ghost Rider's case, he actually receives the Immortality passive, which is one of the two main PvP passives that people are after in this game. It's very, very clutch for PvP. Okay, so now we know how to use our drop-down menus. Oh, and you can use the search function, of course. So if you're looking for, say, good old Nick, you can type in good old Nick, search, and get no results because we need to change those criteria. There we go, and there's Nick Fury. Okay, empty this out. And now let's take a few minutes to talk about what you might want to look for in these selectors as a free-to-play or a new player. So there's going to be two big categories we're going to talk about first for you that are going to be the most important in my opinion. So if you have no interest in PvP at all, or you've got your PvP bases covered, or you simply prefer a PvP artifact at the moment, you're going to be wanting to look for a support artifact. So you're going to set this to allies, and this will bring up all your support artifacts. Looking through these, you can see some of the heavy hitter supports in the game. You've got Nick Fury here, you've got M'Baku, you've got Valkyrie, several others. Agent Venom, you've got She-Hulk's artifact, Ronin's artifact. A lot of these are very, very good support artifacts. I'll demonstrate a couple. Let's go ahead and look at M'Baku here. He's going to apply this effect to all allies and provide them 10% additional ignore dodge, as well as 10% increased all basic attacks with this artifact. Nick Fury, another great support artifact. Ignores dodge again, 6%, and increases basic damage to boss types by 8%, which is a different damage bucket than the M'Baku one, hence the slightly different percentages. And you would determine for yourself which of these supports you would be after. Now, the other thing you may be chasing besides a support artifact is a immortality or revive artifact. If you set this to self and special, you'll get all of the immortality and revive artifacts in the game. The ones people are typically after here are going to be Ghost Rider if you have the seasonal uniform. Carnage if you have him unlocked and are going to get his uniform. Hela is decent. She does get, I believe it's immortality, yeah, from her artifact. It just depends on whether or not you actually plan on using Hela. Wolverine, legendary artifact, gives him immortality, an absolute must for using him in PvP. Magic, same thing, gives her immortality, not as much of a legend, but you need this to use her effectively in PvP, and you'll find that's true for most of the characters that have these artifacts. So a lot of PvP players will be looking to bring one of these characters online with an immortality or revive artifact. There's only 2 revive artifacts in here, I believe. And then the third thing you may get, of course, and I might as well mention it, is just a straight damage increase for one specific character. So say you're using Doctor Strange is actually a good example, and I think he's under the special ones for some weird reason. Maybe not. I could be making that up. There he is, Doctor Strange. So this artifact does not apply to allies and does not give him immortality or revive. This is simply just, even through the little bit of special wording here, just a damage increase for straight Doctor Strange. So if you're just trying to pump up the damage on one character, maybe you're pushing World Boss Legend stages, maybe you're looking for higher scores in ABXL, you could consider getting a single character damage increase through this artifact. But I think most people are going to be looking for the support artifact or the revive immortality artifact. Other thing I need to touch on really quick is the difference in immortality and revive, mainly immortality, between a 3-star and a 4-star artifact. And I'm going to try and break this down for you guys as quickly and as well as I can. The way that immortality works is when your character's HP drops to 0, it makes them invulnerable for a period of time, then restores some of their health after the effect ends. That's my understanding of immortality. Here's the issue with the 3-star artifact. The immortality effect on a 3-star artifact only lasts for 4 seconds. In PvP, the abilities that you're trying to survive generally last for 4.5 to 5 seconds. That means that this window is going to end before the skill ends. You're going to pop out of the immunity from the immortality with very low HP, because you only get 10% recovery from a 3-star artifact, and you're simply going to die anyways. So a lot of people will recommend that you stay away from 3-star immortality artifacts and look for 4-star or better. I just want to make sure everybody's got that little tip under their belt because I think it's very, very important. So that leads us to, what are we selecting out of these selectors? For me, I'm going to be looking at a support artifact for my 3-star. I'll likely be picking up M'Baku, as this is a very good support ability, and I use M'Baku a lot for a lot of different teams. So I will get a lot of value out of this artifact. It's going to spread that love around, get me a good bonus in a lot of my PvE game modes. Of course, I have Nick Fury, so I could consider Nick Fury, Valkyrie. There's several other choices, but for me, it'll be one of the major support artifacts out of this 3-star. Selector, because the support artifacts, though they are weaker at 3 stars, still apply and don't have problems like the immortality does at 3-star. And then for the 4-star, I will likely be looking at an immortality artifact to bring a PvP character online. And for me, that's either going to be someone like Magic, probably, potentially Hela, probably not. Unfortunately, I don't have the Ghost Rider seasonal on this account, so we won't be going that route. Carnage is always an option, but he has to be unlocked. But something like that. And then there's always some other weird niche ones. But mainly I'd be looking to bring online a major PvP character for my account. There's also one more thing to mention here. I don't want this to turn into an ultimate guide video. This is a quick one. I will mention that a couple of the artifacts for some of the World Boss Legends and a couple other artifacts in the game can be unlocked through other means. So you don't want to be taking those from the selectors. Just double check really quick that the artifact you decide on can't be acquired from clearing a certain stage in World Boss Legend. Maybe you're looking at Thor's artifact. Well, it's available in the legendary battle for Thor Love and Thunder. So just make sure you're not going to overlap those. All right, my friends. Hopefully that helps you making your decision with these artifact selectors. That was a nice quick video, which is really what I was going for. If you found this informative, fun, or helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. Really appreciate it. If you want to see the live stream series that we do every day at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, or you want to see more guide videos like this one, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. I'm Old and Gray. This is Free to Play, and I hope you all have a spectacular day. 10-year anniversary hype.